Good morning, traders, and God bless. I am Ricky Gaspard. I am your host. Thank you for joining this pre-market session. We'll be watching these two scans. This is the pre-market scan, the one that you can design in ThinkorSwim. This one is a custom scan that I created. I am a ThinkScript coder, and I've been trading since 1990. And I hold these live streams each morning to teach you how to trade pre-market and how to work these indicators and play the pullback strategy. We'll be watching this volume spike indicator for anything that's moving. You'll see these green numbers pop in. When these numbers start rising, we know we got possible chance to make a play. After we get a spike, we look for this current bar volume, make sure we have enough volume to get in and get out safely. What I mean by that is this number has to really be moving. It's not a certain number. It's just that it has to have good flow. Once we see this flow, we look for this crossover of these two moving averages. This is the 5 and the 13 EMA. Those two moving averages work well for scalpers. Once we have the crossover, we look for these white arrows to pop in. These are buyers increasing the volume as they come in. I'll be marking support and resistance levels. For example, this would have been the resistance level. The price was running up and then it stopped. And then when the price pulls back, I mark a support level. And we play this run up right here, which would be the bounce off of support. But not before we confirm that we have enough volume down here in volume and Dominator Master. This is a volume indicator for only 20 bars back. So we want to see these green bars coming in as the buyers start buying. That gives us a good chance to plan an entry. This is the My Blessing indicator. This is the trend of the stock, this white line. And this is the buyers and the sellers here. We want to make sure that these two lines are possibly above yellow and moving upwards. So once it all comes together, we see a spike. We check the volume. We have a crossover in the arrows. We're looking for an entry. We want to see buyers coming in and that this indicator is pointing north. Never trade off of my screen. My screen is sometimes delayed. Delays can cost you money. I'm also not a financial advisor. Do not take my words to heart. Don't trade because I may say I'm going to take a position here. Because you could lose. What if I'm wrong? Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I am. It all depends on the stock and the buyers and the sellers. So make sure you reach out to a licensed professional before you do anything that you see on this screen or use any of these tools. Thank you for joining me this morning. We have about a minute and a half left. Actually, 1 minute. Before the market opens, I haven't seen anything moving this morning except for a couple of penny stocks. It's been a very slow week for us this week. Last week we really killed it with some high profits, but this week been kind of slow, I guess maybe because we're moving into the holiday weekend. But we'll see how it goes this morning. Hopefully we'll get a play in. So about 30 seconds to go. You'll see these columns fire up, hopefully. I like to try to play stocks above $1, above $5 in my opinion, but for most of us, these pre-market stocks are usually between $1 and $5, but sometimes we get them up there in the $10 and $20 range. It's not just a penny stock play. The price range is 0 to whatever, so whatever pops up is what we'll be playing. Make sure your EXT on your chart is set to. Make sure your TIF is set to EXT so you'll get a trade in. And we are past 6 o'clock by 18 seconds, but I don't see any activity yet. I'm really expecting the market to kind of slow down. People start going to cash before the holiday weekend. So it may be another slow day, but we will see. Maybe we'll get some news released here soon or at 7 a.m. It's usually released on the top of the hour or the half hour. It all depends. And if you post stock picks in the chat, make sure that they have good volume flow, so we don't waste a lot of time chasing stocks that have no movement. Just because they look good on the chart, if they have no volume, they're not going anywhere. No volume on BZFD. Got to check the volume before you post them, please. You may post something and I'm looking at something that might be better, and you post something that's really not relevant, then it's just a waste of time and we could miss a good play. You will often see members posting stocks in the chats, and that's because we are all have a delayed scan, usually up to 5 minutes before the scans refresh. So one of the members or the traders may refresh before me and they post the scan. This helps us to get rid of some of that delay. So they may get a stock before I get one, or I may get one before they do, but we're all watching out. Good morning, cash flow. So this magic scan over here, as we get some good movers up over 1 million shares, they will be locked in over here. And then when the market opens at 8:30, this scan usually has the top plays listed in it. Doesn't mean they're going to move, but at least we have them. Alex, it's auto refresh. We cannot force a refresh unless you go into your scan button and hit scan. That's about the only way you're going to do it. And I even think you're limited on that as well. You can only push the button once or twice. You may think it's refreshing after you push the button, but it's not. ISPC was moving in yesterday's after hours trading. That's why it's listed down here in this custom scan. I coded this scan to take into consideration the stocks that were moving in yesterday's after hour session. This one does not include that special code. ISPC, a cheaper stock. Once this price stops rising, I will mark resistance, but I'm going to forewarn you, support and resistance doesn't really matter on cheap stocks. It depends on buyers and sellers. They buy in large lot sizes and they could drop a large lot size, and the indicators are at that point irrelevant. So the price moves too fast for indicators on these cheaper stocks. All right, let's see if we get a pullback on this cheaper stock. I'll mark it, but there's no guarantees here. So the price stopped here. It pulled back. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can watch it. The price rose up, stopped here. I marked resistance. It pulled back down, and I marked the bottom of this candle here, this red one, when it was down. And the buyers came in. That's the long tail on the bottom. But they failed to drive the price back up. ONMD taken off. This may be a good play, but it's still under $1. So we're not going to chase this green candle. We're going to wait for the pullback. If this is a true run up, we should see some profit takers at the top before a continuation of the climb. Stock is pulling backwards. There's our resistance level. A long wick on the bottom of this red candle means the buyers are coming back in to drive the price higher. So it may not let me set a support level. The buyers may come back in and just keep driving it up. In this case, that's what they've done. So if you're in this stock, I would be taking some off the top when it reaches up there towards the high. Take some profit as it's rising. Good job, Don. We still have the opportunity for a pullback. We'll see if it happens. Maybe it's going to set that 70 cents as support. Here's our resistance level. Let's see if we get another opportunity to get in here. I'm not going to be playing this stock. I'm just calling out the pullback. There's our retest of support at 70 cents. We should see buyers coming back in. We're now waiting on these dominator bars to turn green. We want to see tall dominator bars. This indicator looks really good. Green dominator bar coming in. Let's see if we can break through that 75 cents. Not liking the indicator down here, pulling back. But that does not mean this play is over. The buyers could step in. I'm watching for taller bars here. We need to push through this 75 cents. The volume has died off just about. You can see the current bar volume up here is barely moving. Maybe the buyers are coming in now. We're still waiting. We need to see this number take off. Not looking like it's going to happen. Good job, Peter. No confidence in this one. The sellers are getting out of it. So the play on this stock was back here. This was a red candle pulling down. We saw the buyers coming in, and it spiked all the way up to, I'm going to say 75 cents. Actually, it's 83 cents. So about a dime on this candle is about all you could have got out of it if you got the entire rise. Good job, F. So what we're doing here is we're playing pullbacks. If you've never been here before, we watch for the price to rise, pull back from profit takers. And I'll be marking these two levels, and we play that bounce up. Or we see a red candle come in, and then we see a long wick developing on the bottom. That would be the buyers buying up what they're selling, and they drive the price up even higher. So you have a play with the long wick on the bottom, or you have a play with a pullback on support. On this one, the pullback on support did not work. I'll take a look at G-Wave. G-Wave is already going up. A real cheap penny stock. I will not be playing this one either. I don't like them that cheap. Going for pennies at a time. Still rising. Dominator bars look good. They're getting taller. Hopefully this one gets even taller. My blessing indicator looks good. Looks like we might push higher here. Someone took profits right there. Spike down. I think what happens there, someone sells a big lot size, but someone buys it right up. Good morning, happy trader. Looks like we might rise up a little higher. Not seeing any other spikes as of yet. So depending on your price range, I'll explain that about the pricing and if they show up here or not. In your scan, in your pre-market scan, if you have a minimum of $1, you won't see stocks popping up here that are under $1. Even if they break over $1, if they started lower than that dollar, they may not show up in this scan. So if you go into your scan tab and look up this pre-market scan, if you set it down cheap, like 10 cents or 25 cents, you will pick up all of those smaller stocks as long as they start above your minimum price. So you have to have your price in your scans low enough to pick up these little stocks. So yesterday I posted, or the day before I posted that after hour scan. If you loaded it, make sure you adjust your price way down. I think I have it set at $1 minimum and $50 maximum. Adjust those prices to get it to work properly. Abby, it was about adjusting prices in these pre-market scans. If your minimum price in your scan is $1, you won't pick up the price movements of stocks cheaper than $1. So you need to have your minimum price set really low if you're interested in penny stocks. I think my scans are set at 25 cents. So this stock does not show up here in my scans. Bikasu, I think it's going to be a slow finish for the week. Currently, no volume spikes. Enjoy your coffee. That's what we do is we enjoy coffee, relax, wait for these spikes to take off, and hopefully make a trade. So if you don't hear me talking, I'm looking at other scans as well. So ISPC moving in after hours trading yesterday. I believe this stock had a high of 56 cents, 65 maybe. Yeah, 65 cents. And it's currently at 40, 38 or so, 43. Don't know if it will make it back up that far. Magic scan is empty. That should tell you the story of this morning. Usually it has one or two in it by now. ISPC at resistance at 44 cents. Happy trader, it's hard to follow rules. I tell myself never chase green candles, and I still on occasion do it. The resistance gets too strong. And if I see the opportunity, sometimes I take it when I shouldn't. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I regret it. Have to keep telling myself, practice what you preach, and you won't get stung. ISPC is above that 44. Very low volume, barely crawling up. Really not a play. But if you have the patience on slow crawlers, this would be for you. Looked like the buyers got tired of holding for a long period of time on ISPC. They are taking profits. You may see the buyers come in and start buying it up. That would be the long wick on the bottom that I spoke about earlier. ONMD we were watching earlier. It did not spike back up. It just continued to sell off. Let's see if the buyers come back to it to drive it up a little. ONMD, a few buyers coming in. Need to break that 70-cent level, and it did all the way up to 75. So if you are in profit and you bought that bottom dip down there, you should be taking some off the top. Good job, Bikasu. Well, that's one way to do it, Yandros. Walk away, right? Yeah, 3:30 is quite early. I would be so drowsy trying to trade. I would actually have to get up at 2:30 and get pumped up full of caffeine to trade at 3:30. That's pretty early. Just remember, I didn't make the market hours. I just play them. Looks like the buyers may come back into ONMD. I'm watching the Dominator bar a little taller on the last one that's active. The current one, I should say. If it breaks above that yellow average line in Dominator Master, that means they're coming back in. It's not a guarantee more will come back in, but it's higher volume than average. Red Dominator bar. So when we have no spikes showing up like this, and I have this set at negative 0.01. So even if it's a 0, it should post. So we have nothing happening currently. Also keep your eye. I'm sorted by highest volume to lowest. Always keep your eye on these numbers to see which one's moving. Because the sooner you can find the mover, the lower the price you can enter. So I'm kind of always scanning these numbers and waiting for spikes. There's NVIDIA down here in the pre-market risers custom scan. Let's look at NVIDIA overall. Let's take a 15-minute look at it. Looks like they started buying it up in anticipation of earnings, and then it just kind of laid flat, waiting on that news to break. Andros, I coded an aftermarket scan, but you need to adjust the price level in it to suit your needs. It's strictly for after hours. So what that scan's going to do, it should work before the market closes and kick in for after hours right when the bell rings. Well, the reason I wrote it is because pre-market scan had a delay of a couple of minutes before it refreshed after the bell rang. So I wrote another one, and it should continue running before the bell and after the bell. It should pick up on the after hour stocks. Always sort it by volume spike if you're playing after hours. And quite honestly, you should be sorting all of your scans by volume spike. And you just do that by clicking the name up here and bringing these percentages to the top. The reason I'm sorted by volume highest to lowest is I'm watching for the lower stock volume to move. And I can't do that if I sort by volume spike. Especially on slow days, you got to look for everything. This one, I'm trying to get it out there. I keep promising y'all I'm going to put it out there. I've got it ready to go. I keep messing up on the video. Yesterday, I remade the video. But once it was done, I realized there's more I could inform you about in the video that I had left out again. This is several parts to this new one that's coming out. I need to cover all the parts. But once I get it done, I will let everybody know before I release it, so you'll be ready. This is a real winner when the bell rings. You can click up here and sort by the buys and wait for percentages. And this is tuned in to this indicator down here. And it's looking for volume spikes. So it's going to list what's moving the most during the regular session. You can even play these holds when they have volume spikes. You can get in lower. The hold means it's almost set up to become a buy. In other words, it's moving up, but the indicators are not right. When you see the buy, that means everything's lined up. It's not a pre-market tool now. It's definitely after the bell rings. But you could probably use it for pre-market. I haven't tested it there. I did test it in the regular session for a few months now. So if you want to create this gap here, instead of the price being jammed up against this line, you go to your gear icon right here. I believe it's under equities. Nope. It's under time frames. Nope. Appearance. It's under time axis. And right here, you can adjust it as 0, 10. You can type in whatever number you want here. I'm currently at 10, and that gives me 10 candles back, which would be here. So gear icon, time axis, 10, or 8, or 7, or 5, whichever number you prefer. The reason I have mine back set is when I click the support and resistance level, this number right here is in the way, and I'm trying to look through these numbers. So I move the price back to clear this. This one simply uses the after hours scan that comes with ThinkorSwim. This one's custom coded to take into consideration the stocks that were moving in yesterday's after hours trading. So if they're going to continue to move this morning, they're going to be listed here. ISPC was here earlier, but not up here. And ISPC yesterday was moving after hours. Hey trader, I use 1 minute. I use the tick chart at 133, and I'm also looking at a 5-minute chart. I'm running multiple monitors, so I'm trying to plan the best entry by waiting for all three indicators to line up. That would be the 1 minute, the tick chart, and the 5-minute. And sometimes I don't wait on the 5-minute because the tick chart's already telling me to get in. A lot of traders like to trade on the 5-minute chart, but a lot can happen in 5 minutes. That's why I use the 1 minute. Show you how sensitive the volume spike is. This 0.45, that's less than 1%, popped up and picked up that little candle. Thank you, Michael. That was a masterpiece. ONMD. Thank you, Money Tree. Good job, R. Can only see the first initial of your name, so I'm going to call you R. ONMD pushing upwards. Green dominator bars have been piling in. We may come back down and retest 75 cents again. Doesn't look like it has the power to go anywhere. But the buyers are building up position here. So just to clarify a few things that could be misleading, when you hear me say buyers and sellers or buyers and sellers, keep in mind I don't have access to those buyers and sellers. So what I did was when the volume was increasing and the price was rising, within the code, I called that buyers. And when the volume was increasing and we were spiking down, I called those sellers. So I coded the volume to where if it was moving in either direction, it gave me a percentage of how many of those upward movements versus how many were downward movements. It gives me the percentage between those two numbers. That's how I was able to get around buyers and sellers. The lack of getting that data was to code in the volume for buyers and sellers, but it's really not buyers and sellers. It is the volume's increasing as the price goes up, and the volume is decreasing. The volume is increasing as the price goes down. So if it's your first time here on YouTube, I hold a free session for 1 hour each morning, 5:55 a.m. to 6:55 a.m., so that you can join us for at least an hour to see what we do. If you're interested in joining us, at the top of the chat window on YouTube, you'll see a banner up there. It's white and yellow. You can come join us over on Discord, become a premium member, and I do this for 3.5 hours each morning. Sometimes the 7 o'clock hour is just as powerful as the 6 o'clock hour. Then I stop streaming around 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Plus, as a premium member, you get all of the indicators and scans I've written throughout the years. I'm seeing some buyers coming in here. They've been struggling trying to get it any higher, so be careful. I don't know if I would chase it right here or not. Another attempt to break through that 79 cents, and there it goes. That was kind of like a surprise run. It was a very small volume spike. This indicator was actually down when it ran up. Still pushing higher. Up to 92 cents, 93 for the high. Probably going to be some profit takers right here. Big red bar coming in on the dominator. Well, it kind of disappeared. So about a 12-cent rise on that last gain from the support level up to here. Like the buyers are trying to push it higher. Good job, Terry. Good job, Milo. Good job, Jimmy. $0.96. This is not in my price range, so I'm not trading this stock. Even though it looks to be a good one. $0.98. Nice green dominator bars. They may push it up over $1. $1. So that was a pretty good run up for a stock under $1. About 24 cents on the last two run ups. Let's see if we can push it and break through $1. My blessing indicator is kind of hugging the line down there horizontal, so be careful. It's not real strong of a run. If it shows weakness here, I can almost assure you a lot of people are going to take profit. No, this yellow line is the average between the run, so it's probably about sitting here if this line were on the chart itself. But the run is much stronger if these two lines are above this yellow line. Much stronger run when it's up here. And an even stronger run if they're both pointing upwards. Up over $1 to $1.04. Retesting 99 cents. All right, YouTubers, I got to let you go. Got to get over to the premium section of Discord. Hopefully you join us over there for more fun and activity and action. Possibly a few more dollars in your pocket. I thank you for joining me this morning. Have a blessed trading day. And as always, God bless you and your family. See ya tomorrow.